You have heard the shortest version of Enoch your entire life. Enoch walked with God, and then he was not found, because God took him. That is almost all Genesis gives you. One righteous man, one vanishing, one silence. But the buried Enoch tradition does not leave that silence empty. It opens the sky like a manuscript torn down the middle. It names the book. It gives the root. It counts the heavens. It takes the missing man from earth to the highest court above creation, and then it says something so strange that most readers were never allowed to hear it in church. Enoch did not simply disappear. According to the ancient book known as Second Enoch, also called the Book of the Secrets of Enoch, he was taken through all seven heavens, shown the machinery and records of the unseen world, brought into the throne room, anointed, clothed in glory, and changed before the divine presence. This is not the Enoch line in Genesis. Genesis gives you the doorway. Second Enoch claims to show what was behind it. And if you have ever wondered why one of the most mysterious men in the Bible vanishes in a single sentence, this banned book answers with a map. Start with the warning, because this is where people get sloppy. The standard Bible most people read does not map all seven heavens. Genesis does not give you a tour through seven layers of the sky. Genesis does not show Enoch entering a throne room. The title belongs to Second Enoch, an ancient apocryphal Enoch book preserved most fully in Old Church Slavonic, carried through Russian and Balkan manuscript tradition, translated into English in the 19th century by R.H. Charles and W.R. Morfill, and known to many readers as the Book of the Secrets of Enoch. It is not universally canonical. It is not in most Protestant Bibles. It is not the same as First Enoch, the Ethiopian Enoch book many people already know, but it is one of the strangest surviving witnesses to what ancient readers thought happened after Genesis says Enoch was taken. And the reason it hits so hard is simple. The text does not merely say Enoch went upward. It gives the ascent a structure, heaven by heaven, chamber by chamber, until the missing man stands before the throne. Subscribe to the Buried Testament now, because this channel is not here to recycle the safest version of the story. Every week we open the texts that were pushed to the margins, the fragments that survived in monastery language, the passages that make the familiar Bible feel suddenly unfinished. If you want the hidden shelves of Christian and Jewish tradition brought back into the light without turning them into fantasy, subscribe now. What you are about to hear is a map, and every step matters. The first thing Second Enoch does is change the way you hear the Genesis sentence. In Genesis, Enoch is the seventh from Adam, the man who walks with God and then is taken. The sentence is quiet, almost too quiet. It does not describe death. It does not describe burial. It does not describe mourning. It simply says, he was not, because God took him. That silence has bothered readers for thousands of years. Where did he go? What did he see? Why was he taken when everyone around him died? Second Enoch answers by turning that sentence into the opening of an ascent account. It imagines Enoch at home, old, righteous, near the end of his earthly life, when two immense heavenly figures appear to him. They do not come as a vague feeling. They come as messengers. They wake him from the ordinary world and tell him that he is being summoned upward. The missing man of Genesis becomes the eyewitness of heaven. That is why this book feels banned even before anyone explains the canon. It touches the one question the normal reading leaves buried. Every child who hears the Enoch line eventually asks where he went. Most teachers answer with a shrug. God took him. That is enough. But Second Enoch refuses to shrug. It says the taking had geography. It had order. It had witnesses. It had rooms. The invisible world was not a cloud of religious feeling. It was organized like a royal court and a cosmic archive. That is the first reframe. Enoch is not treated like a ghost floating into light. He is treated like a living witness being escorted through restricted territory. The first heaven is not the final destination. That is the point. In many modern imaginations, heaven is one place. You die, you go upward, and the word heaven covers everything. Second Enoch does not think that way. It opens with layers. The first heaven is the threshold, the lower storehouse of the sky, where the text places the ordered forces that affect the earth below. Enoch sees the treasuries of snow and dew. He sees the storehouses of clouds. He sees the places where weather is kept and released. This is not modern science, and the script must not pretend that it is. It is ancient cosmic architecture. It is the world imagined as a temple system, where what falls on earth has a chamber above it, and what seems random below has a keeper above it. Rain is not merely rain in this vision. Snow is not merely snow. The sky is an administration. And this is where the book begins doing something brilliant for retention. It does not jump straight to the throne. It makes you climb. The first heaven answers the question of how the visible sky is governed, but it also makes you realize that the first heaven is only the outer court. If the lowest layer already contains storehouses, gates, keepers, and secrets, what is waiting above it? Stay with this, because the whole engine of the book is escalation. Every heaven is not just another location. Every heaven raises the pressure. The first heaven says the sky has order. The second says that order has prisoners. In the second heaven, the tone changes. Enoch is no longer only seeing the machinery of the weather. He is shown a dark place of sorrow, where certain rebellious powers are held in grief and waiting. The source notes call them weeping prisoners, and that is the right emotional frame. The ascent is not a clean tourist path through bright clouds. It immediately reveals that the heavenly world contains judgment. There are beings above human sight who have already crossed lines, already been restrained, already become proof that heaven is not sentimental. This matters because Second Enoch is not trying to comfort the reader with a soft afterlife postcard. It is trying to show a court system. Every realm has an order. Every violation has a consequence. Enoch is being shown that the universe is morally structured before he ever reaches the throne. Do not turn this into a Watcher's video. That would be the wrong center. The Watchers and rebellious powers appear in the wider Enoch tradition, and Second Enoch has its own version of heavenly beings who failed. But the title here is not about Genesis chapter 6. It is not about giants. It is not about the flood. The engine is the map and the throne. The second heaven matters because it proves that the ascent is not decorative. It shows Enoch that the upper world includes locked places, not only shining places. The heavens are not just higher and brighter. They are judicial. They contain evidence. Then comes the third heaven, and the text splits the imagination again. Enoch is shown a realm of beauty, paradise imagery, a place of rest and prepared blessing. But in the same heaven, the tradition also places scenes of punishment and terror. That contrast is one reason the book feels so ancient. It refuses the simple modern split where heaven is only above and punishment is only below. In this apocalyptic imagination, the unseen world is layered and arranged with terrifying precision. The righteous are not simply floating. The wicked are not simply forgotten. The universe is an ordered moral archive, and Enoch is being walked through it so that he can return as a witness. Picture the effect on the original listener. You begin with the most familiar mystery in Genesis, a man taken by God. Then the hidden book opens. First heaven, weather storehouses. Second heaven, prisoners. Third heaven, paradise and punishment held inside the same vertical map. By this point, the viewer is no longer asking whether Enoch went somewhere. The viewer is asking what kind of world has been concealed behind one short biblical sentence. That is why the shell works. Maps all seven heavens is not a vague promise. It tells the viewer there will be sequence, escalation, and a final door. Stop for a moment. I want to ask you something very specific. Before this video, did anyone ever tell you that the Enoch tradition did not just say Enoch vanished, but claimed he was taken through seven heavens and brought to a throne room? If this is the first time you have heard that, write throne in the comments, not as a decoration, as a marker, because that word is the center of the whole ascent. Weather does not explain Enoch. Prisoners do not explain Enoch. Paradise does not explain Enoch. The throne explains Enoch. And when you write that word, you help another person scrolling through the comments realize they were never the only one who felt that the Genesis sentence was hiding something. The fourth heaven takes the map from moral geography into cosmic motion. Here, Enoch is shown the courses of the sun and moon, the movements of time, the luminous bodies that mark days and seasons. Again, do not flatten this into modern astronomy. That is not what the text is doing. Second Enoch is giving you an ancient sacred model of cosmic order. The heavens are not chaotic. Time is not loose. The lights have paths. The year has structure. The visible sky is governed by a hidden liturgy above it. For an ancient reader, this was not a side note. The calendar was holy. The movement of the sun and moon shaped feasts, fasts, seasons, worship, harvest, and memory. To show Enoch the fourth heaven is to show him that time itself is administered. This is one of the deepest reasons Enoch becomes such a powerful figure in ancient tradition. He is not only a man who escapes death, he is a man associated with knowledge, the calendar, the stars, the records, the laws of heaven, the secrets behind what ordinary people see but cannot interpret. In some Enoch traditions, this knowledge becomes dangerous when corrupted. In Second Enoch, the emphasis is different. Enoch receives knowledge as a trusted witness. He is shown the order so that he can testify to it. The book is not merely asking what happened to Enoch, it is asking why Enoch was chosen. And the answer is not that he was curious. The answer is that he was righteous enough to be shown what most of the world could not bear to see. Then the fifth heaven pulls the ascent into a strange hush. The source notes call this the realm of the silent watchers. Again, do not drift into a full watcher's center. Keep the frame tight. What matters here is the silence. Enoch encounters beings associated with heavenly rank who are not celebrating, not singing, not functioning in harmony. They are silent. The silence feels wrong because every previous layer has had activity. Weather is kept, prisoners weep, paradise waits, the sun and moon move. Then suddenly the ascent enters a chamber where the expected praise has stopped. That stillness is a warning. Something happened in the heavenly order before Enoch arrived. The genius of placing this in the fifth heaven is that it turns silence into evidence. You do not need shock imagery. You do not need spectacle. You do not need a monster image. The most disturbing thing in the fifth heaven is restraint. Beings who should be participating in the praise of heaven are mute, suspended in sorrow or failure. Enoch is not being shown chaos. He is being shown the aftermath of rebellion inside order. The map keeps tightening. First, the sky is ordered. Then prisoners prove judgment. Then paradise and punishment prove moral division. Then the fourth heaven proves time is governed. Then the fifth heaven proves that even heavenly beings can be marked by a failed response to the order above them. If this resonates, press like now, not for vanity, for the signal. Every like tells the system that people still want careful buried text work, not just recycled clips and empty fear. This video is walking through the exact promise of the title, one heaven at a time, because the map only works if the ascent is paid in order. The sixth heaven is where the hidden administration becomes impossible to ignore. Enoch is shown angels who record, measure, and govern. The source notes call them life recorders, and that phrase captures the feel of the scene. The universe in Second Enoch is not unmanaged space. It is a written world. Lives are remembered. Actions are recorded. Orders are carried. Nothing simply disappears into the air. This is the stage where the manuscript theme becomes more than an artifact on the thumbnail. The universe itself is manuscript-like. Heaven has books. Heaven has records. Heaven has witnesses. And Enoch, the man who vanished from Genesis, is being prepared to become one of those witnesses. That is why the proof object matters. The thumbnail shows an ancient Slavonic Enoch manuscript because the whole story depends on the survival of a written witness. Without the manuscript tradition, the map collapses back into silence. The standard reading leaves you with one sentence. The buried manuscript gives you chambers. It gives you names of heavens and functions and thresholds. It gives you the ascent in narrative form. The manuscript is not decoration. It is the physical reason the story can still be told. Every torn page, every copied line, every monk who preserved Old Church Slavonic words without knowing whether a future audience would ever care, becomes part of the chain that carried the throne scene forward. Now feel the pressure of the sequence. Enoch has passed the weather storehouses of the first heaven. He has seen the prisoners of the second. He has seen paradise and punishment in the third. He has seen the courses of sun and moon in the fourth. He has encountered the silent heavenly beings of the fifth. He has entered the record-keeping order of the sixth. At this point, the map has done what a good ascent text must do. It has made the final heaven feel earned. The seventh heaven is no longer just a bright place at the top. It is the inner court behind every outer court. It is the place where the administration, judgment, time, records, and worship all point. The seventh heaven is where the title pays. In Second Enoch, Enoch is brought into the highest realm, before the throne and before the divine presence. Say that carefully. The text describes an encounter with the presence of the Lord, but this video must keep that presence as throne, light, glory, and radiance, not as a visible person. The theological lane is even more important. Enoch is not simply shown a beautiful seat. He is brought before the center of authority. Everything he has seen below depends on this throne. The heavens have order because the throne exists. The records matter because the throne judges. The calendar matters because the throne governs time. The prisoners matter because the throne is holy. The paradise matters because the throne gives rest. And then the text does something almost shocking. Enoch is not only allowed to see, he is changed. According to Second Enoch, the Lord commands that Enoch be stripped of his earthly garments, anointed with a shining oil, and clothed in garments of glory. The language is transformation language. Enoch comes upward as a man from earth. At the top, he is prepared to stand among heavenly beings. His face and body are altered by glory. His old human condition is not erased in a cartoon way. It is elevated. He is dressed for the court he has entered. That is the moment the source viral locked onto, because it is the part that makes the throne more than a location. Enoch finds not only a throne, he finds his own changed place before it. This is the secret hidden inside the title. What Enoch found on the throne is not only an object, it is an identity crisis. The throne reveals what the whole ascent has been doing to him. The first heaven showed him the order of weather. The second showed him judgment. The third showed him destiny. The fourth showed him time. The fifth showed him failed praise. The sixth showed him records. The seventh shows him why he was brought there. He is being turned from the man who disappeared into the man who can carry secrets back to earth. He becomes a witness of the structured heavens. He becomes a scribe of hidden things. He becomes the proof that the Genesis silence was not emptiness, but concealment. This is also why the text says something no ordinary angel scene can match. Enoch is commanded to stand before the face of the Lord, to remain near the divine presence in a way that marks him as more than a visitor. Again, say it with guardrails. This is according to Second Enoch. This is not a universal doctrine of every church. This is not the standard canonical account. But inside the book the claim is huge. A human being is lifted beyond ordinary human limits, robed in glory, and placed in the heavenly court. The banned book is not asking whether Enoch survived. It is asking what kind of human being can stand in the place where angels tremble. And now the word banned has to be handled honestly. This book was not banned in the cheap sense that every copy was hunted and burned in a single dramatic scene. That is not the responsible claim. It was banned in the deeper feed sense. It fell outside most standard canons. It survived at the margins. It was preserved through Slavonic manuscript tradition rather than sitting in the Bible on most Western church pews. It became a book most believers never heard read aloud. That is why the word works without lying. The book was not available to most Christians as scripture. It was hidden by absence, hidden by canon lists, hidden by language, hidden by the simple fact that if a text is never placed in your hand, it can shape almost nothing in your imagination. Share this message with someone who thinks Enoch only appears in one short Genesis sentence, not someone who wants hype, someone who still reads carefully, someone who can handle the difference between canon, apocrypha, tradition, and suppressed memory. Because the recovery of a buried text only matters if we recover it with discipline. The most important discipline is this. Second Enoch does not replace Genesis. It expands the ancient imagination around a Genesis mystery. Genesis remains the doorway. Second Enoch is one tradition that claims to show the rooms beyond it. If you confuse those two things, you lose the trust of the viewer. But if you keep them distinct, the story becomes stronger. The standard canon says Enoch walked with God and was taken. The apocryphal witness asks what that taking looked like. The Slavonic tradition preserves one answer, and that answer is a full vertical world. 7 heavens, 1 throne, 1 transformed witness. This is why the Buried Testament has to treat the book like a case file, not a fantasy novel. The evidence trail matters. Old Church Slavonic preservation matters. The 19th century Oxford translation work matters. The fact that this is often called the Book of the Secrets of Enoch matters. The difference between First Enoch and Second Enoch matters. The connection some discussions make to fragmentary material from Qasr Ibrim must be handled carefully, because the secure path for a viewer is the Slavonic witness, not a wild claim that every fragment proves every line. The power of the video is not exaggeration. The power is that the honest version is already strange enough. Now return to the throne room and notice what the map has done to you. If the video had opened by saying Enoch was transformed before the throne, it would sound like a random miracle claim. But after 6 heavens, the transformation feels like the only possible climax. A man cannot pass through the weather vaults, the prison chamber, the paradise realm, the courses of the lights, the silence of failed heavenly beings, and the record rooms of creation, then stand unchanged at the center of it all. The ascent itself prepares the body. The map creates the metamorphosis. Enoch does not merely arrive at the 7th heaven. The 7th heaven completes what the ascent began. That is the emotional punch for the viewer. Most people think being taken by God means escape. Second Enoch says being taken means exposure. Enoch is exposed to the architecture of reality. He sees order where humans see weather. He sees consequence where humans see delay. He sees records where humans think secrecy has erased them. He sees time as governed rather than random. He sees silence in heaven where praise should be. And finally, he sees the throne as the source from which every lower order receives meaning. The book is terrifying because it does not let you imagine that anything is casual. This is why the opening sentence in Genesis suddenly feels heavier. Enoch walked with God. That phrase is not a decorative compliment anymore. It becomes the condition for ascent. The man who walked with God on earth is the man who can be escorted upward without being destroyed by what he sees. The moral life below prepares the eyes for the hidden world above. In that sense, Second Enoch is not only a cosmic map, it is a warning about readiness. Not everyone who wants secrets is ready for secrets. Not everyone who wants to see heaven is prepared to stand before the throne. Enoch is chosen because his walk came before his vision. And that may be the reason this book became uncomfortable. A book like this makes the unseen world feel too near and too structured. It says the heavens are not vague. It says time is watched. It says lives are recorded. It says rebellion has chambers of consequence. It says paradise is not a metaphor. It says the throne is not poetry. It says a human life can be weighed against a cosmic court. For institutional religion, the safer version is often the shorter version. Enoch was taken. End of sentence. No map, no ascent, no throne room, no transformation. But the old book did not stay quiet. It survived in the language of monks. In manuscripts most believers could not read, waiting for the day the missing sentence would become a map again. The final revelation is not that there are 7 heavens, that is the structure. The final revelation is that the 7th heaven explains the first 6. Without the throne, the map is just cosmic architecture. With the throne, the map becomes government. Every level is a department of divine order. Every storehouse, every prisoner, every garden, every orbit, every silent being, every record, all of it points upward to one source. Enoch is not being entertained. He is being educated in how reality is ruled. That is why he must be robed. That is why he must be anointed. That is why he must be changed. He is not a tourist. He is being made into a witness fit to stand near the center. So when you see the thumbnail with the torn Slavonic manuscript and the glowing word for throne, understand what it is really showing. It is not a random ancient word. It is the whole video compressed into one visual proof object. A buried book, a 7-layer opening, a man pulled through the page, a throne shown as overwhelming light and divine radiance, a small manuscript keeper in the corner, because the only reason this story reaches us is preservation. The image and title are saying the same thing. There is a manuscript. The manuscript contains a map. The map ends at a throne, and the man who reached that throne did not come back the same. If you made it to this point, type throne below. Not because the comments need noise, but because this is the word that separates the video from every generic Enoch upload. We are not chasing vague mystery. We are tracing one object through one book. The throne is the final proof that the heavens in Second Enoch are not scenery. They are hierarchy. They are court. They are judgment. They are glory. They are the reason the missing man of Genesis becomes one of the most important witnesses in the buried tradition. And there is one more detail that makes the story even stranger. In Second Enoch, after Enoch is shown these secrets, he does not simply vanish forever in that moment. The tradition gives him a period of return, a time to instruct his children, to hand down what he has received, to leave testimony before he is taken again. That means the ascent is not private enlightenment. It becomes transmission. Heaven shows Enoch the map so earth can receive warning. The secrets are not given so he can feel special. They are given so the generations below can know that the world is governed, watched, written, and judged. That is the difference between a hidden text and a useful hidden text. A bad hidden text only flatters the viewer. It says you know what others do not. A powerful hidden text humbles the viewer. It says if this order is real, your life is not unwatched. Your words are not vapor. Your days are not random. Your choices are not floating loose in an empty universe. Second, Enoch turns the sky into a record-filled temple and then places a human witness before the throne. Whether a church canon received the book or not, the imagination it preserves is enormous. So do not leave with the cheap version. Do not leave saying the Bible secretly teaches 7 heavens, because that is not careful enough. Leave with the sharper version. Genesis gives the mystery. Second Enoch gives an ancient apocryphal map of that mystery. The book of the Secrets of Enoch, preserved in Slavonic tradition, claims that Enoch was taken through 7 heavens and brought before the throne. There he was anointed. There he was clothed. There he was transformed. There the missing man became the heavenly witness. That is the buried claim. That is the reason the title works. And that is why the throne is the only possible ending. Look, I understand if you are careful about subscribing to another channel that handles buried scripture. You should be careful. There is enough careless hype online already. But the buried testament is built for the reader who wants the old texts opened with intensity and restraint at the same time, not watered down. not inflated past the evidence, opened. Every week we trace the manuscripts, the apocrypha, the fragments, the lines that survived outside the familiar shelf, and we ask what they reveal about the stories people thought they already knew. If this video gave you a clearer map of Enoch than the one sentence you grew up with, subscribe now. The next buried text is already waiting. And the next question is even more dangerous. If Enoch was shown the records of heaven, what exactly was written there about the world below?